episode of Modern Mom, where we talk about being a mom in the 21st century. My name is Rumi K. I am a comedian, a certified life and relationship coach, and on my way to getting my certification for yoga as well. I have with me Nan Mu.
Hi, I'm Nan Mu. I'm also a comedian. I'm also a software engineer. And no, I'm not a mom, but I admire everything Remy does
Oh,
as a mom.
oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I had Nan. I had
Mhm,
Nan on here today because she's got a nice, diverse resume like I do, and
mhm,
she's fun.
mhm.
One of my
I like to
favorite
think
things.
so.
I think you're fun. So
Mhm.
cool. So, how long have you been doing comedy for?
About 2 years.
Yeah, and what got you into it?
Well, my friends have always told me I was funny
Oh,
and I'm very creative.
yeah,
And it was kind of like during the pandemic, I started writing jokes when you're just
nice.
like so isolated, there's like nothing to do.
Yeah.
And then I just had a real desire to go to the open mics and try them out.
Yeah,
And then I took a class on comedy. Shout
nice.
out to Jesse Fernandez.
Jesse
Yeah,
Fernandez.
do you know Jesse
I don't.
Fernandez? Okay. Well, he's a comedian. He teaches at the Punchline. And
Okay.
he's really good. He's been a comedian for like 10, 15,
Oh,
20 years. He's written for The Onion, like so many
nice.
great like credits. So yeah, like I took his class. It's like so much fun, it's such a blast. And
What did you learn? What did you learn from that class that made you go,
uh-huh.
okay, it's clicking
Mhm.
now. Comedy's clicking for me.
I think like he fosters like a really good environment where
Mm,
people can give like feedback on jokes and
hmm
stuff. And I think he gave like a really good like skeleton of like how to prepare your bits
hmm
to put like your best foot forward, like put
hmm
the best, I guess, sandwich your material,
hmm
your best stuff and your second best stuff at the beginning and the end.
hmm
And just like hearing from someone who has so much experience,
hmm
like different ways of trying things, I think is really helpful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Any one piece of advice you would give to a brand new comedian who went,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I'd love to get into comedy?
Don't.
That's actually
Sometimes
good.
sometimes I'm like, "What why the hell am I, like, doing this? Like, why am I putting myself through this?"
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was talking to, like, another friend and, she's a mom
Yeah.
and, like, she's, like, a professor as well, and she does comedy,
hmm
and we're, like, driving, like, 2 hours, like, round trip to Santa Cruz for, like, 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and we're just like, "Why are we doing this? Like, we
Yeah.
could just be at home, Netflixing, not
Not
Netflixing,
chilling.
not chilling. No, there's no chilling going
There's no
on."
chilling.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, I want to talk about two things about that. I
Okay.
want to talk about the Netflix and no chill. And I
Uh-huh,
also want to talk about
uh-huh.
the fact that you mentioned
Mhm.
driving to Santa Cruz round trip.
Uh-huh,
I noticed that the person who says yes to a show, to a
uh-huh.
set, is a different person than the person who shows up to the set.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because I am mad at myself when I'm
Uh-huh,
on my way to that set that I booked.
uh-huh.
And I'm like, why did I do this?
Yeah, yeah.
But I
Uh-huh,
also noticed that
uh-huh.
those are my best sets when I show up like a
Yeah.
little bit angry, a little bit annoyed.
Uh-huh. Angry with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Something about
Uh-huh.
that brings out the humor in me.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's like I realize
and I'm
if
not the only one.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think what it is like maybe if you put too much pressure on
yeah,
yourself, then you don't do as well. But if you're just there, like I'm just gonna
yeah,
treat it like any other mic,
yeah,
then you're like more loose, you're more connected to the audience. Like, hey, you guys don't have anything better to do on a Monday night than
right?
to come to a free show.
Yeah.
I don't have anything better to do on a Monday
Then
night.
do a free show. You know
Exactly.
what's funny? So I'm running for school board. I was telling
Uh
you about
huh.
this
Yeah.
earlier.
Uh huh.
And a lot of times for this, I have to go up in front of forums and answer
Hmm.
questions.
Uh huh.
And I did notice that comedy
Uh
has
huh.
gotten me so used to the mic.
Uh huh.
So one of the things they say is like, don't, use the mic like a ice cream cone, use it like a popsicle stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I literally have a mic in my hand a
Yeah.
lot.
Uh huh.
And so I have noticed that that is one thing. And then the other thing is riffing.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh
Riffing is
yeah. Uh
such a
huh.
talent. So riffing is basically like coming up with a joke on the spot.
Like what we're trying to do right
Kind
now.
of, sort
Not
of.
well,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah.
mean, it never is well
Yeah.
initially.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of
Mhm.
my jokes actually I'll be in the
Mhm.
audience,
Mhm.
or I'll be interacting with the audience. And some of my jokes I write
Uh-huh.
while riffing. So I'll
Yeah,
record
yeah.
myself
Uh-huh.
and then like write the joke like that.
Oh, speaking of which, like yesterday I was like at Mamakins, this open mic, and there
hmm
was this like cute guy
hmm
in the audience, and I was trying to like shoot my shot
Yeah.
and try to riff. I'm like, hey, we have like a Matt Rife knockoff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, as
That's
right, like
funny.
trying to like be flattering, but also like be funny at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely laughed at like all my jokes. He definitely
Okay.
liked my stuff, but he didn't come up to me afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
think also that's kind of awkward too.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
honestly, okay, so I have
Mhm.
this new joke that I'm kind of writing, and
Uh-huh.
I think the number one red flag in a man is if he approaches me.
But then how would you find a man if no one approaches you?
I'm a mom of 2 and in my
Uh-huh.
middle age. I don't need a man to approach me, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not
Uh-huh.
that's not my like, I've got other things to do. I'm okay. But,
Uh-huh.
like, I just feel like, my history has told me that
Mhm.
when a man approaches me,
Uh-huh.
it's not
The
the
right kind of
the right
man.
kind of man.
You know, I read a book about this, and it
Okay.
said, like, the reason why, like, women aren't getting, like, the best men is, like, it's always the aggressive men who approach you,
Right.
not necessarily the best men. Like, the
So it's
best.
not just me, it's science. There's
Yeah,
some
yeah.
science behind it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And they say, like, the really nice guys, the really
Yes.
successful guys
Yeah.
or respectful guys, they're afraid to
Right,
approach.
right.
So what is a girl to do?
Yeah, it's true, and it's
Yeah.
hard. And
Uh-huh.
then we've got this other side where
Mhm.
relationship coaches are saying, "Black Ken energy, don't
Uh-huh.
ever approach a man
Yeah, yeah.
because if you do that, you're doomed. The
Uh-huh.
only successful relationships are when
Uh-huh.
the woman is the black cat and the man is."
Uh-huh.
Have you heard this? The
I
golden
was
retriever.
telling you how to play hard to get.
It's not. It isn't
Uh-huh.
hard to get quite. It's that the
Uh-huh.
woman has to be in a receiving mode.
Okay, okay.
So
Mhm.
a lot of times there are specific relationship coaches, I won't name any names, but there are
Mhm.
specific relationship coaches who say, you are not to make the first move.
Okay, okay.
And
Uh-huh.
then have you ever heard of Matthew, what's his name? Hussey?
Oh, I've seen, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, uh-huh.
So he says
Mhm.
women make the first move, but not in the way you think
Uh-huh.
they do. They'll like leave a handkerchief. So back in the
Yeah,
day,
yeah, that
yeah,
yeah.
they would like
Mhm.
leave a handkerchief. So
Mhm.
one thing that he suggests is that you're at a bar, you're
Uh-huh.
wherever, and you put your jacket down on a chair and you
Uh-huh.
ask someone like, "Hey, would you be willing to watch my jacket for me?"
Uh-huh.
And then that's how you start the first move.
Okay, I think I've seen that clip.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But, like, yeah, I've read books too where it says, like, "Oh, women should make the first move because, like, the guys who approach you are not the best."
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, I feel like if a guy's not willing to approach me, then
Yeah.
he's probably not that into me in the first place. I don't wanna be
Oh
like,
my gosh, this is
you know.
such a hard topic and I
Right?
totally feel it cuz it's
Uh-huh.
like, oh my gosh, it's you're so right. No, it is
Mhm.
hard, but I mean, it's hard.
Yeah,
It's tough.
'cause I don't wanna be someone's, like, consolation prize, like, "Oh,
Right.
I'm dating her 'cause," it's like, "Oh, she was there."
Right.
I want someone to be like, "Oh, I really want her." But I also heard, like, if a guy is really attracted to
Yeah.
you, he's actually less, likely to approach you because he's like, "Oh, she's so out of my league."
Like, I wanna know the science behind this, like,
Exactly,
and
like,
there
what.
isn't any science because it's too subjective,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
And for me, like, I'm attracted to a guy, like, I've hardly ever been in a position where, like, I liked a guy and he didn't like me
Mhm.
because I like people who like me,
Okay.
you know?
That's an
Mhm.
attractive quality to you,
Yeah,
is
uh-huh.
that they should I'm a Scorpio. What are you? What is your
Li li
zodiac?
Libra.
You're a Libra?
Yeah,
So is my
yeah.
youngest.
Uh-huh.
So I'm a Scorpio, and I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, my red flag is you have to be obsessed with me for me to
Okay,
like
okay.
you. So I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I
yeah, uh-huh.
understand. I feel like it's very attractive when a man is clearly into me.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
uh-huh.
also wanna be your one and only and your last breath and all that.
Yeah.
I want a man who's gonna be, like, really into me and just
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
pursue me, but also
Mhm.
I want, to be able to not shower for 4 days in a
Oh.
row. And it's funny because I was thinking about that the other day. I was
Uh-huh.
like, "Gosh, it'd be nice to be with someone again," but then I also like the freedom of not taking a
Yeah,
shower for, like, a
uh-huh.
couple days in a row because I don't want
Mhm.
to.
Yeah. You know what's, like, so nice, like, being single? You have, like, so much, like, your own space.
Yes.
Like, if you're like even if, like, roommates,
Yeah.
it's, like, horrible, but you have your own space, your own apartment,
Yeah.
you could have your own weird sleeping schedule, sleep
Yeah.
a couple hours, if you get up in the middle of the night, you could watch an episode of Golden Girls, go back to sleep.
Yeah,
No, there's no
Golden
one
Girls.
oh my
Okay,
god, let me
let's
tell
talk
you.
about that for a
Okay,
second.
Golden Girls is a treasure.
Is it?
Yeah, like, okay,
I
so
used to watch it when I was younger,
Okay, okay.
when nothing
Mhm.
else was on.
Uh-huh.
I was a Brady Bunch kid.
Okay, okay. So let me tell you, like, I only got into it recently, and, like, I was doing a show in Vallejo,
Uh-huh.
and, there was, like, nothing on, but I came across the episode of Golden Girls, and I
Mhm.
watched the episode, I'm like, "This is brilliant
Is
TV."
it?
Yeah, it's just, like, the chemistry that those girls have is
Mhm.
just, like it's so natural. Like, one of my favorite sitcoms was, like, Friends,
Yeah, Friends was a good one.
Yeah, where it's like, you see some sitcoms where it's too much, like, you see them try to set up a joke,
Mm,
and then it's like, oh, it's obviously it's
yeah,
leading somewhere. It's just like there's no natural chemistry, but the
yeah.
Golden Girls, like, It's my new jam.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
Golden Girls is the original Friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
And it gives me hope because I feel like even if I do stay single, like,
Yeah.
I could still have fun, be a golden
Oh, yeah.
girl, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Oh, I have so much fun chilling with my girls
Uh-huh.
and, like, doing my thing and,
Mhm.
like, I do a lot of climbing and I do a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
fitness,
Uh-huh.
and I will literally just have the time of my life, like, doing
Uh-huh.
those things. I went backpacking actually, and I
Okay.
went with a group of girls,
Uh-huh.
and it was so oh my gosh, it was lovely because they were so courteous to one
Uh-huh.
another. We were just constantly like, "Oh, excuse me, did you need something?" I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
the amount
Uh-huh.
of times and this is a little bit sad to be honest, but the
Uh-huh.
amount of times we said sorry to each
Oh,
other
yeah. I know, I know.
for standing there. I mean,
Uh-huh.
literally at one point, one woman was standing there and I turned around to use the bathroom and she
Uh-huh.
apologized to me for standing there. Like she was there
Okay,
first. You were
uh-huh.
there first.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, I mean, just the courtesy,
Uh-huh.
we had for one another was lovely.
Yeah. I went to, like, Morocco with, like,
Mhm.
a whole bunch of girls and, like, one guy,
Mhm.
and, yeah, like, it was really nice because it's, like, a kinda community of girls kinda
Mhm.
looking out for each
Yeah.
other, and, I think, like, with girls, there's always, like, one mom of the group.
The matriarch.
Yeah,
Yes.
right? There's someone who's, like,
Yeah.
super organized and
Yes.
someone so you're never worried about, like, being lost or being,
Yeah.
like, left, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And, like, cause like, I'm, like, the baby of the group,
Oh, are you?
kinda well, just cause like, I'm a very, like, I'm an only child,
Yeah.
I'm very, like, fun, free-spirited, very young at heart, I
Yeah.
kinda just go with the flow.
Yes.
Like, some people, like I was impressed by their organization skills. They had,
Yes.
like, capsule luggage or whatnot, like, they planned out, like, their outfits to the
Oh,
T.
wow.
Yeah, it was insane.
I have not been on vacation in such a long time. I
Uh-huh.
remember I used to do that. I used to you were talking about, like, sleeping whenever you want, so I don't have that luxury. I have 2
Uh-huh.
very broke roommates
Yeah.
who I gave birth to, and they're
Uh-huh.
right here actually
Uh-huh.
right now, but, I do make it work, and I do try to, add things to their schedules so that I'm
Uh-huh.
doing things so one example is we go to school early and play a little tennis.
Okay.
And so that way I get my tennis practice in, so
Uh-huh.
then I get to teach them some tennis,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I do get to get my stuff in that way, and I do try to actually wake up earlier. I'm like, "Okay, kids, wake up early."
Uh-huh.
I try to wake up, like, an hour earlier to get my
Mhm.
stuff in, go to the gym for a little bit. So,
Uh-huh.
and it is nice. It's a nice level
Mhm.
of discipline, but you're right, having that kind of it's still more flexible. Having 2 humans that I
Uh-huh.
raised is
Yeah.
still more flexible than having a man
Uh-huh, yeah.
that I'm attached to. Got 2 women that
Uh-huh.
I'm raising.
Yeah, yeah.
Hear it again. Like,
Uh-huh.
seriously. I mean, somehow this works way
Uh-huh.
better.
Uh-huh.
And somehow I'm able to show up to these I made it to that school board thing today.
Uh-huh.
And they were big kids. And
Mhm.
thank goodness it was a lot of teachers at that
Mhm.
meeting today. And they were loving and understanding and
Uh-huh.
supportive. And even if I were not to win, vote for Remy. But
Uh-huh.
even if I were not to win,
Uh-huh.
this experience has been so lovely being around a group of people who are just loving and understanding that,
Mhm.
like, hey, you know what? I do have kids.
Yeah.
'Cause I was bringing my kids to mics, to open mics,
Uh-huh.
and some people had stuff to say about it. They were like, "I don't wanna do
Uh-huh.
your jokes in front of kids." And
Uh-huh.
it's like, you do know kids exist on the
Yeah.
planet, just in general,
Uh-huh.
but then one day one of them got conscious and she was like, "Mama, what is" whatever,
Yeah.
something not appropriate,
Yeah.
a question I was not
Uh-huh.
ready to
Yeah.
answer, and that's when I stopped bringing them to
Yeah,
mics.
yeah.
And sometimes I still do very rarely, but, like,
Mhm.
yeah. So, comedy, not so kid friendly.
Yeah, not very at
Running for
all.
school board, a little more kid friendly,
Yeah, I would imagine.
right?
Yeah. Oh, but, like, I find, like, having a schedule is, like, really good.
Yeah, a
Yeah, so,
routine.
like, what I do, like, I've been winning a bunch of, like, joke contests.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so
What's up?
Nan is really active on this Facebook group. It's
Uh-huh.
a Facebook writing group.
Yeah, it's called a Hot Breath. Shout out to the
There's a
Hot Breath.
couple.
Huh,
There's Hot Breath and there's another one, right? No?
I'm just on the Hot
Okay,
Breath one.
okay,
Okay,
sorry.
yeah,
Okay, Hot
maybe
Breath. Shout out Hot
okay.
Breath. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so, like, what I do is, like, every day at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., they
Yeah.
put out a word,
Yeah.
and you write a joke based off that word,
Yes.
and, so that, like, the second I usually wake up around, like, 6-ish or
Okay.
so because I'm a sadist or masoch I don't know which one it is.
Sadist and the masochist because you're
Okay.
waking yourself up, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then, like, I make sure to get in, make sure to be out of my computer at 7 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
disciplined about
yeah.
it.
Because you know what really helps? Like, okay, so what I do is, like, I put in all my jokes, and then see like how many who gets the top vote, right? Let's say
Mhm.
like the top voter that day, they got like 10 votes, right? And then like I have all my jokes I put in hot breath in like a spreadsheet. I put
Mhm.
how many votes I get. So let's say like you know some of my jokes, and so in my Excel sheet I have like the percentage of how many votes I get compared to like the
Top
highest
person.
votes. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
And that way I could kind of like filter like, oh, these are some of my best jokes. Maybe I could like put them in a set. Yeah, so it's kind of a way of like
What a
trying.
STEM way
I
of
know,
getting
right?
jokes.
It
If
is.
that is not a
Yeah.
scientific, mathematical way
Yeah.
to write a joke, I don't know what is. No, I
Yeah.
love that. That's
Oh, thank
amazing.
you,
No,
thank you.
and you know what? I am gonna say this.
Mhm.
I hope you don't mind. I have noticed that your
Mhm.
jokes have gotten really good
Oh,
in
thank
the
you,
last
thank you.
year.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I have noticed,
Uh-huh.
like, at the first
Uh-huh.
couple sets I heard you, I was like, "Okay, keep coming back." But,
Oh,
like
yeah.
but
No.
but the last couple
Uh-huh,
sets, so
uh-huh,
Dan and
uh-huh,
I actually did a,
uh-huh.
competition.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
this. We talk about the couple anyway, we did a competition at the
Uh-huh,
Alameda Comedy Club, and
uh-huh.
your set was amazing.
Oh, thank you,
And then
thank
you
you.
did a set at Rooster Tea just before that, and
Uh-huh.
you had this joke. I'm not gonna say it because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Nan's joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, the Lincoln joke?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I was like, I mean, the joke killed literally
Oh,
and
thank you, thank
figuratively.
you.
I mean, it was such a good joke. I was
Uh-huh,
like my head was like,
uh-huh,
if I catch a glimpse of the ceiling, I know
uh-huh.
it was a good set.
Okay, okay, thank you,
So
thank
that was
you.
a really good set, and I really appreciate
Uh-huh,
that. But I noticed that, yeah,
uh-huh.
so I think, do you feel like this writing group is helping you?
Definitely, because I
Yeah.
definitely feel like, um, it definitely has, like, changed my game
Mhm.
because, like, I have, after, like, the first 6, 9 months,
Mhm.
like, I didn't really know what to talk about. I was like,
Mhm.
how do I brainstorm? And it's, like, hard just, like, looking at a piece of paper, just, like, I'm just write stuff. But, like, uh, this group helps me where it's, like, maybe that word of the day, it doesn't inspire anything,
Mhm.
but maybe it inspires a joke that will later inspire
Mhm.
something else
Mhm.
that I came across just,
Yeah.
being part of this group.
Yes.
Yeah, I find, like, a lot of comedy is just, like, trying different
Oh,
branches.
100%.
Exactly, uh-huh.
100%. In fact, one of the first things that
Mhm.
I heard about comedy is that write like crazy,
Yeah, yeah,
so a
uh-huh.
lot of times I'll be like in bed
Uh-huh.
and I'll be either talking on the phone or thinking to myself, and I'll just be like, joke that I need to write
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
exactly,
And like that's not gonna be the joke, but
uh-huh,
it's gonna be my starting point, my
uh-huh,
launching pad.
mhm.
And then at some point I might come up with something that's just
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. A lot of times, like, I think of a phrase that would be, like, really good in
Yes.
a joke,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of times it's like, how do I get the wording
Yeah.
to make it sound good? A lot of it's, like, the
And
wording
the timing.
and the timing too,
'Cause you
yeah.
have to set the joke up.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's a science, no
It
wonder you're
is,
so
yeah,
snappy
yeah.
about it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my kids are, "Hey, you
Uh-huh.
guys, did you eat?" This is a modern mom, you guys. I'm doing mom at the same time. "Did you eat? Can you finish your food, please? Thank you. Thank you. Finish it up. We're gonna go to bed soon."
Uh-huh.
By we, I mean you.
Uh-huh. Us ladies are gonna get drunk.
So,
Drunk
I
and
don't
crunk now.
I've actually been sober for 6 years.
Oh, wow, congrats.
6 plus years. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And,
Mhm.
honestly, I've had more fun. I
Okay,
mean,
that's
I had
good.
fun back then too.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
outfits were a little smaller.
Okay. Oh, like, when like, you would easily become a drunk doing comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I have, like
Yeah.
yeah, I have, like, a rule for myself where, like, I only drink at most, like, 2
Interesting.
drinks a week,
Okay.
more
Oh,
or
okay.
less.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
they say
mhm. Uh-huh.
the men on
Yeah, yeah.
podcasts that I've seen on
Uh-huh.
Instagram, they say that 2 drinks a week should be your max.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, like and also, like, the couple times where I had a drink before going on stage, I'm not as good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not even having, like, a strong drink, but I don't know, there's just something about it, it
It
just
knocks you off
slows
your
you
game.
down.
I think
Exactly.
that that's been part of my success is
Uh-huh.
being sober
Yeah,
and
yeah,
doing jokes.
yeah.
Somehow, it's like I
Mhm.
remember the whole thing of the joke, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
And so I think that there is something to say about that. I
Mhm.
think, and actually, I forgot his name, but he does like a YouTube class
Uh-huh.
on comedy, and that's one of the things he says: do not get inebriated before
Yeah,
you go out
yeah.
there.
'Cause, like, being comedy, we see a lot of people who are just there getting drunk or
Right?
getting high,
Yeah.
and it's almost like, "Why are you doing this
Yeah.
anyways? You could do
Yeah.
this at home." Right? It's
Yeah, I
uh-huh,
guess
mhm,
I could see that. I mean, who
uh-huh.
knows what people's goals are? I mean, do you
Yeah.
have like a goal in comedy? What's your goal?
I mean, just try to get better and better. I'm
Yeah.
always looking, like,
Do
the
you want a
next
Netflix
step.
special?
I mean, who doesn't, right?
I love that.
But I mean, like, I think the best way to look at things is like, how do you compete with yourself? How do you become better than you were like the day before?
Yeah.
Because like, there's times, and it's normal to be like jealous of like other people's success. Like, oh, they're
Oh,
at
yeah.
my
I
same
do it all the
stage,
time.
right? Like, how
I
come
don't do
they're
it with looks, but I do it with comedy.
Oh yeah, I
I
can
have
see.
such
Uh-huh.
comedy FOMO.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. And like I used to feel like really jealous, but then
Yeah.
I was like, okay, the only thing that I could do is try to get better.
Yeah.
And try to like look at that person. What is that person doing that I'm
Yeah.
not doing?
Mhm.
And then you kind of notice like sometimes the gaps are not as big as you think.
Mhm.
And like sometimes I notice like, oh
Oh my
wow.
gosh, say it again.
Sometimes the gaps are not as big as you think.
It's so
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah, because what I notice is like sometimes my jokes, like sometimes even I'll watch like a professional comedian on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, I don't think their jokes are necessarily better than mine.
But what is it, you
Yeah,
think?
but I think it's like
The delivery,
the
the
delivery, their
timing.
performance, their like
Yeah.
presence. It's a
Yeah.
lot of like I'm trying really hard like to work on like the performative side
Yeah.
and also just like being more like quick on my feet,
You've gotten
talking to
a lot
audience. Oh,
better.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, the
No. I
first
love
like
Nan, you
thank you,
guys.
thank you.
There's,
Yeah.
like, nothing not to love about Nan. Like, I just and I'm, like, very open about it
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like, I'll be like the
Uh-huh.
last time it was funny, I saw the video, so last time we were at open mic, and I thought you had left. I
Uh-huh.
thought I saw you leave the room, and I guess
Uh-huh.
I just didn't see you come back.
Uh-huh.
And I, like, interrupted my set because I was,
Uh-huh.
like, so excited to see you. I thought you had left. I adore her, and I'm very open about it.
Yeah, exactly. Because like we have so much going on. Like you're a mom and a comedian. Like I have a full-time job and I'm a
Yeah.
comedian.
Yeah.
Like we don't have time for like all this
No,
nonsense. Yeah, like
not at
I
all.
was on like Tinder and Bumble and all that. Like
Yeah.
I would like swipe them match and there's a little back and forth and it
Yeah.
was like, do you want to actually meet? They're like, oh, not.
I
Said,
would stop
why?
at the "Where are you from?" question.
Okay, okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
And then so I was talking to this woman about this because she's
Mhm.
white and I lift with her every week.
Mhm.
And she was like, "Yeah, but sometimes as a white girl, I ask white guys, 'Where are you from?'
Uh huh.
Meaning, are you from the Bay Area?" I'm
Uh
like,
huh.
"No, no, no. I answer that way first. I
Uh
go, 'Bay
huh.
Area.'" And they're like, "Yeah, but like, where are you from?"
Okay, okay.
And
Yeah,
that
that's
question is
weird.
so
Yeah.
annoying. I'm like, "Okay, really? Is this about like my ethnic background? Do you want my ancestry.com? Like, what's the deal?" Like,
Yeah, yeah, I can see
you know
that.
what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
little bit like,
Mhm.
like, can we go a little bit deeper than that? Is
Uh-huh.
this just about like your Asian fetish or your South
Yeah.
Asian fetish? Like, are you just like, ooh, I want to be
Uh-huh.
like the Jonas brother and marry a
Uh-huh.
brown girl or whatever? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah. Oh, so I remember like one time my friend was complaining about how she doesn't like guys with like Asian fetishes.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I told her is like find a guy that you have a fetish for.
Okay.
As long as it's bi-directional, I don't think
Okay.
there's a problem with it.
Okay.
You
Interesting.
know? So like let's say like okay, like I've been telling everyone for like ever that I have a thing for Latin men. Shout out to Latin men.
Latin.
Yeah. And then like but of course like no Latin guy has been offended by that. So what
Okay.
I'm saying okay, yeah. So let's say
Interesting.
like I like a Hispanic guy, right?
I'm not offended by anything
I don't
though.
think they're
I
like,
don't
hey,
think.
anything that gets me closer to the prize.
Honestly,
Yeah.
this is why patriarchy exists.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you cannot really easily
Uh-huh.
offend a man, I
Yeah,
feel. A
yeah.
woman cannot
Uh-huh.
offend. If I catcalled a man,
Uh-huh.
he wouldn't feel disempowered.
Yeah, yeah.
He'd be
Uh-huh.
like, "Hey, girl," you know
I
what I mean?
know, right?
Right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so what I was gonna say
Yeah,
about
sorry.
the okay, because I feel like let's say like I have a thing for you
Mhm,
because you're Latin or whatever, and you have
mhm.
a thing for me because I'm Asian. Like
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
That's bi-directional.
Okay.
But if it's just
So
unidirectional,
I
okay.
did have a thing
Uh huh.
for half white, half Asian men,
Okay, but why that
specifically
specific mix?
because of Dean Cain.
What?
Dean Cain.
Who's Dean
He
Cain?
played Superman back in Lois and Clark.
Oh, he's cute.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
know what
really
you're talking
he
about. Yeah.
was.
Uh
When he
huh.
was younger, shout out to Dean Cain. Younger Dean Cain.
Uh
He was cute when he was
huh.
younger, and I was super into him, so I was, like, all about the half Asian, half white men.
Okay, okay.
So my kids are
Uh huh.
quarter Asian, quarter
Yeah,
white.
yeah.
I mean, they're three-quarter
Yeah,
Asian,
yeah. Uh huh.
they're half Bengali,
Yeah.
but yeah, the other half
Yeah.
is that
But
Asian,
I mean,
half white.
like they always say like half Asian, half white babies are really cute. That's
They
like a
are cute.
common
They are
stereotype.
cute. They
Yeah.
are cute.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like,
Uh-huh.
they're adorable.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there was this half Japanese, half white boy one time, and he had,
Uh-huh.
like, hazel eyes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah, it was just
Uh-huh.
beautiful, just very,
Yeah.
yeah, attractive.
Yeah,
I think that's my fetish.
Yeah, okay.
And if he were to fetish a brown girl, I wouldn't care one bit.
Yeah,
I'd
like,
be all
hey.
right. In fact, that was someone, I won't name names, whom I had kids with. Yeah, totally
Okay,
had a brown fetish, and I had a
Yeah.
Asian fetish, and
Yeah.
it worked
Yeah.
for that period of time.
Yeah. Just you do you, go for whatever you're
Right?
into.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, half Asian, half white boys. Just kidding.
Mhm.
I'm gonna cut that whole part out.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I mean, just that. No, I'm not calling out to anybody, but I don't. They're not around as much as they used to be.
Half Asian, half I feel
Yeah.
like the Bay
Are
Area,
they
they're
everywhere?
everywhere. Yeah.
Maybe I'm not looking. Maybe I need to look harder.
Yeah. But you know, sometimes you can't tell they're that mix.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like half Asian, half white. They
And
look
they
like
look
Hispanic.
Mexican.
Yeah. So
True.
yeah.
Nationality, we're getting into this.
I know.
I know. So actually, people wonder if I'm Latin because my children
Okay.
look Latin.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Are you a dark Latin girl?"
Uh-huh.
And there are some Latin girls I've seen who totally look Indian.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
prettier, sorry. Like pretty Indian girls. And they turn out to be Latina.
Mhm.
And so, you know, it's interesting. You're right. And Bay Area is such a mix. It's such a melting pot of
Yeah.
ethnicities
Yeah.
that it is kind of hard to tell who's who. I've
Yeah.
met Asian women
Uh-huh.
who are like pure Taiwanese.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, are you Malaysian?
Okay.
Like, are you a mix?
Yeah.
Like, you know, because it's funny because I dealt with the same thing because my parents are from Bangladesh.
Okay.
And so people are like, oh, you're just Indian.
Oh, I see.
And I'm like, bro, are you Croatian? They're like, yeah. I'm like, but you're just Portuguese. And they're like,
I know, right? Yeah.
and so there is like this kind of, because I think historically, unfortunately, the nationalities, when they fight with each other, like there was this one woman. She was very sweet. I climbed with her one time. And her parents were from Pakistan. I think she was from Pakistan too, actually. And yeah, she said that at first. She's like, oh, I'm from Pakistan. And she's like, you know what? I read the history on the Bangladeshi Pakistani war. And she's like, we really messed that one up.
Oh,
And that really melted my heart. I was like, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even my fight. I wasn't alive when that happened. But, you know, she did that. And that was very considerate.
Oh, that's nice. So she read it just for you?
No.
Okay,
She had read it previously. So we were climbing together and she asked me what I was. Because I'm obviously South Asian. Not everybody's obviously South Asian. Some people are very fair skinned. Their hair is a different color. They dye it or whatever. So they don't look, she did not look obviously South Asian. But she said a few things to me that hinted to me that, oh, she's from the South Asian area, right? And so, and I'm obviously South Asian. South Asian people. Like, people automatically ask me if I'm Indian, but they kind of ask me with a question mark because they're like, you kind of look like you have the skin and the hair, but like something is not connecting. And so she was asking me, she's like, what are you? And I was like, well, my parents are from Bangladesh, which is a fact. You know, I wasn't born there. I was born in Boston. And so when I told her that, she had mentioned how she had recently read on the history.
Oh, okay. That's
so she didn't do it for me. Yeah. She had just recently read on it. And but yeah, that was very considerate of her.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, that is such a amends to make, to, you know, say like, hey, you know what, even though this was not my fight, even though I was not involved, even though I was not there, you know, to you, this is a possible resentment you may carry, generational, ancestral. And listen, I'm talking about it right now because it sucks. Racism is not fun, but these are some of the origins of where racism comes from. Is that there are histories that need to be acknowledged, in my opinion. We need to acknowledge them. We need to acknowledge that they happen so we don't repeat them, right? And Rwanda is an example. So I don't know all the details about Rwanda, but they had some division. There was a lot of genocide and a lot of issue. And so one of the prime ministers said, you know what? We are just going to forgive everybody. They're going to forgive you and you're going to forgive them. And we're going to live in harmony, period. End of story.
Yeah.
That's it. And so people who have, you know, neighbors that have massacred their family.
Yeah.
Right? They're living right next to each other and they have to help them out. If they're sick or whatever, they help them out. And it's like, that's part of it, the forgiveness. But, you know, I think that part of that is also that acknowledgement.
Yeah. I think
of like, you know what? There was this history thing. I acknowledge that.
Yeah. I think so. Like, I think you really have to like heal what's there before you build on top of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. That was kind of the second part of it, is that where I was going. And so thank you for picking that up. But yeah, I think that's an important thing to talk about, especially when we do have this melting pot. Like, it's funny because that whole, like, I don't see no color does not work in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
opinion.
come on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But how can I respectfully commingle and coexist with you in a way that acknowledges the past, that helps us build a, great present, and launches us off into a beautiful future? Remy Khan
Yeah.
for CUST School
Yeah.
Bus.
You got my vote. I think you would do better than Trump, so,
Oh, oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk about politics a lot
Uh-huh.
because I think that it's so divisive,
Uh-huh.
and I think that we should talk about policies.
Mhm.
Like, that's important thing to
Yeah.
talk about. But, like, unfortunately, have you watched Hassan Minaj's Patriot Act at all?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, like,
Mhm.
I like how he talks about the background of the issues,
Uh-huh.
and it's very intelligently done. What do you think?
Mhm. I think so too.
You like it?
Yeah, yeah.
He got canceled
Oh, yeah,
because
because he lied about a bunch of stuff.
we're
Yeah.
comedians. We lie, all right? I don't have
Uh-huh.
kids. Just kidding.
Uh-huh.
I do.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
do. They're right there. Oh no, she's
Uh-huh.
yelling at me. My kid is yelling
Yeah,
at me
yeah.
now. She's like, I'm your kid. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know what? I have picked the wrong audience for this joke, I think. So, anyways, yeah, Hassan Minaj, I think he had some good insight on that, and I think his show was really well done. He was supposed to host the Daily Show,
Yeah, yeah.
and then they brought back Jon Stewart. They're like, just bring back the OG.
Yeah. But I think, like, Jon Stewart was getting tired of that show.
Was he?
I think, like, when he left.
He's an old man.
Yeah, yeah.
As lovely as he is.
Uh-huh. He's old.
He's old. He's
Yeah.
tired. He wants to go to bed early.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't want to do a late show.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I remember, like, the last
Thanks.
year, you could definitely tell the quality of that show was going down.
Yeah.
It just
Oh, really?
didn't seem like he had that energy
So is he still hosting it?
I'm not sure. I
Okay.
think they were gonna give to I heard, like, Roy Wood Jr. was in
Who is
it.
that?
He's, like, the other correspondent, the black guy.
Oh, yeah. That guy. He's funny.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
I listened to, like, a podcast that he was on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's another comedy series called, like, Let's Talk About Sets, and he has one on there, and he's talking, like, Roy Wood Jr., like, does a lot of research, for his jokes.
Okay.
Yeah, where he did this, joke about, oh, it was about the Vietnam War, and he told me and he talked about how he read, like, all these books about the Vietnam War just to do research on his jokes, and that was really, like, a interesting
Hold on a
technique.
second. I'm not gonna change the batteries to that right now. Not even after I'm done. But you know what you can do is you can put it in my office or on the counter of the kitchen, and I will put it in my queue. Put it in my queue. You can play with it right now, but yeah, you can put it in my queue. Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, no worries,
What were
no
we talking
worries.
about?
Oh, yeah. So Roy Wood Jr., he really does, research into his jokes, and, that's something I do because 'cause I'm a big history buff.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
And how do you do your research? Not ChatGPT, I
Well,
take
it's
it.
ChatGPT.
Okay.
Oh, so what I do, like, so I was working on this bit about, like, Neanderthals, and there was a documentary about Neanderthals, so I watched it, and while I was watching it, like, if I thought of a joke, I would write it down.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh.
so I, like, you know what, like, so I was watching this other series. Yeah.
Way to write jokes.
Like, whenever you're watching TV, especially if you're watching about something that's interesting to you, like, sometimes that, like, inspires, like, jokes. I was watching this, and sometimes, like, something totally unrelated to what you're watching.
Yeah.
So I was watching this series about, a Mehmed, a sultan of, the Ottoman Empire, and he was, like, fighting against, Vlad the Impaler, Dracula. And, it's talking about, like, putting these, their, like, castles under siege. And then, I was thinking about, like being a woman in tech, like, and, I haven't worked this bit out very well yet. Yeah, yeah. But, like, in my first computer science class, like, I was the only girl. I was thinking, like, it's a lot like being in a siege.
Yeah.
Where someone's like, "Oh, you're the only one, give up now," things like okay.
No, go ahead.
So
I'm sorry.
yeah, so that's something like I'm kind of working on,
Yeah.
like just
That's the start. That's what came from that documentary.
Yeah, it came from that. So.
Interesting. Yeah, I watch a ton of TV. The last documentary, it wasn't even a documentary. It was like a mockumentary.
Okay,
about Anna Delvey.
Who's Anna Delvey? Oh,
yeah.
She's the one who like schemed a lot of like rich.
And you know what? The thing is, she would have made it.
Okay.
If she had actually used, she had ended up. So long story short, Anna Delvey was a not elite. What is that word? What is it that Kim
Brilliant?
Kardashian is? No, no, no. Kim Kardashian. What is she? Not influencer. Socialite. Socialite.
Okay.
So she claimed to be a socialite. She claimed to have some money and some inheritance from her German ancestors or whatever. And ancestors, her German family. She was an heiress to her German family or whatever. Turns out she wasn't even from Germany.
Mhm.
She was like from Russia or something.
Okay.
And she was completely lying about the whole thing. Now, she had gotten very far. She was working on borrowing some money in order to create a elite social club. And she got very far. She got to the point where she was able to borrow $200,000 from a bank.
Okay.
So now, this is my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not saying go do crime, but if she had taken that $200,000 and she had gone to the other bank, because she was kind of working with two banks here, if she had gone to the other bank and said, "Here's my $200,000 collateral, give me the rest of the loan," she would have been able to get millions of dollars in loans, and she would have been able to fund her project, which was to create this social, club, elite social club. And then she could have made her money and nobody would have known. She would have never gone to jail. She would have been a successful businesswoman.
Okay.
But instead, unfortunately, what she did is what some people do when they get money after not having any money or, whatever, is that she started just spending the money. So she got $200,000 from this bank account. And then she started just spending the money. She started giving like $50, $100 tips to like this hotel or whatever. And unfortunately, she got caught because she didn't actually, do anything with the money. And so she got sued by a bunch of banks and, for fraud and stuff.
Yeah, I never know whether to, like, hate these women or admire these women.
I low-key admire her.
Yeah.
She could have gotten away with it if she had just finished with the plan, and she had and I'm sorry, how many her boyfriend had done the same thing, by the way. He
Okay.
had basically gotten funding for his startup that was a bogus idea, was not in the works, and he never got arrested.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you heard of Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos?
Is that the one, the Stanford thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like you don't know whether to admire her,
Yeah.
but it's like that
And
level.
if she was a man, would she have gone to jail? Is the question.
Well, okay, so I think a lot of people compare her to like Zuckerberg
Mhm.
or and they say because like Zuckerberg did some shady things, and
Mhm.
like Facebook wasn't as great as he said it was, but at
Mhm.
least it was something.
Mhm.
Whereas for her, like
Mhm. She was
it,
just straight line.
it was just straight up, like just like
Mhm.
nothing.
Mhm.
So I think her case is a little bit different.
Mhm.
I know with like Apple too, like they kind of did like a magic trick at like
Mhm.
one of their shows where they show like because like, their app kept crashing,
Mhm.
but they'd be like, "Oh, look at this," and they'd pick up like another phone where it
Mhm.
like was working. They
Mhm.
just um,
Oh, interesting.
so yeah, so like there's definitely a little
Well,
deception, but not at that level.
so AI
AI,
is a
yeah.
really good
Uh huh.
example because a lot of things that are claimed to be AI, and like anyone who's in the industry knows this,
Mhm.
is algorithms that have been around for a long time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
really, I know I'm totally dumbing it down as much as possible,
Uh huh.
but like an if then statement.
Mhm. Yeah,
If
yeah.
the
Mhm.
value is this, except the data set is just a lot bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like in order for it to be like there was this someone was saying like in order for it to be intelligence, it can't be artificial, and to be artificial, it can't be
Yeah,
intelligence.
yeah.
So when I think of artificial intelligence, I
Uh-huh.
think about, the neural network, the
Uh-huh.
teaching of the neural network, the machine learning bit of it, and then
Mhm.
making an inference based on that.
Uh-huh.
But that's a fancy algorithm.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Oh,
just filling it with a data set.
yeah. Oh, by the way, do you use, like, Chat GPT to help with
Oh yeah.
jokes? Okay,
Not with
okay.
jokes.
Okay,
So actually, you know what I did try one time? I did
uh-huh.
try this one time was Meta AI.
Okay, okay.
And so I told this is what I did. I told Meta AI one of my jokes.
Okay,
So I have this opening joke,
Mhm.
and I don't know why it works. I don't even think the audience knows why it works, but
Uh-huh.
it's, my name is Remy K. You've heard it 1,000
Yeah,
times.
uh-huh.
My name is Remy K. It's like Kim K. I've
Uh-huh.
even got my own Kanye because I have a baby daddy.
Okay, okay.
And so, I told that to Meta. I was like, listen, Meta AI, I have this joke.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
Mhm.
And I said the joke in there, and it was like, "Oh, you can add this bit about how but I haven't broken the internet
Uh-huh.
yet."
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, that's not
Yeah,
bad." Right?
right? Uh-huh.
And so I have tried Meta AI, but
Uh-huh.
what I don't use it to write jokes because it's terrible at writing jokes from
Yeah, yeah.
scratch, but I will give it my joke and say, "What
Mhm.
would you add to this? Like, what is
Mhm.
something that you would" yeah.
Oh,
Have
interesting.
you?
I've only really tried it once where like, "Oh, here, like, give me a list of things that, like, um, a woman is like a wallet.
Interesting.
Yeah, they didn't have really good responses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people are always worried, like, is AI gonna, like, hurt comedy or take over comedy? Like, no. Like, no one can take away your personality.
That's the thing about
Mhm.
AI, is that our idea of it is artificial. Like,
Yeah,
it's basically those algorithms, and we have to feed it the data.
Mhm.
And what it can do is it can compare a bunch of, or it can produce a bunch of possibilities.
Mhm.
So one thing I like to use AI for actually is summarize a book for me. And I'll
Okay, I can
still
see.
listen to or read the book,
Uh-huh.
but I'll say, "Hey, summarize this book for me. What is this book about?"
Yeah, yeah.
Like, give me like the key points.
Mhm. Yeah, that's like sometimes I use like AI to like make like a phrase,
Mhm.
like it could make it sound like more formal
Okay.
or less,
Yeah.
like that's nice and like how to like organize it better.
You know what's funny
Mhm.
though? Because okay, there's this episode. Have you seen Black Mirror?
Just the first one and then like no.
Oh, that's why, because you watched the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
one. Okay, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you have never seen Black Mirror, do not start with the first episode.
Uh-huh.
You will be turned off to. I was yelling at my kid's father, like we were still married at the time,
Okay.
and he's like, "Hey, let's watch Black Mirror," and I was like, "Okay." And then
Uh-huh.
after we were done with that first episode, I was like, "Why did you
Yeah.
subject me to that? Why? I did not have to see that." But there is this episode of Black Mirror that I highly recommend. I don't remember what season it's in. It is all scary. Don't ever watch it. But it's about this man and this woman. They're in this loving relationship, and the
Mhm.
man goes out to get milk or something, and he dies in a car accident. It's so
Okay.
unfortunate. So the woman goes to this AI. Now, this I think is possible because
Mhm.
again, the what we know as AI is basically feeding it a data set,
Uh-huh.
deep learning, machine learning, and then inferencing based on that, right?
Mhm.
So what she did was she signed up with this AI, which again, totally possible in my
Uh-huh.
opinion. And what it did was it said, "Hey, give me all of his emails,
Uh-huh.
give me all of his text messages,
Uh-huh.
give me any voicemails from him that you have, any
Okay.
information, any
Uh-huh.
communication,
Uh-huh.
so that I can utilize my, machine learning, deep learning neural network,
Uh-huh.
incorporate it, and then make inferences and have a conversation with you."
Okay, okay.
And so she did that. She provided all that information, and then she started IMing with it, him,
Uh-huh.
this
Mhm.
AI him.
Yeah, yeah.
And that I could see happening.
Okay,
Then
okay.
they took it one step further and they added like a physiological bio aspect of it.
Uh-huh.
And they said, "Hey, based on his genetic that we have in our
Uh-huh.
medical whatever, they were
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
retrieve some, or maybe she had some. She had gotten some hair out of his hairbrush or
Okay,
something
uh-huh.
creepy,
Oh, yeah.
and so she wanted to clone him."
Oh, okay.
And so she ended up cloning him, and it was
Uh-huh.
it just got weird at
Yeah.
this point because it was a little too much, but they programmed him basically to be him.
Uh-huh.
And then it was so sad. He ended up
Oh.
like living in the attic because she couldn't take it anymore. It was actually causing more pain than anything
Uh-huh.
else, and I
Yeah.
recommend it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I saw this one thing where like there was this is for like grieving parents
Yeah.
and like this company makes like holograms of their like dead children. So
Oh
it
yeah.
feels like I'm like I think that's too
Holograms.
much. Yeah, like I think like if I was that parent, I would
Yeah.
just like
Want to let go of the
let it
memory.
go.
It's
Yeah.
hard because as
Uh-huh.
a parent,
Uh-huh.
that is the parent's biggest fear,
Yeah, yeah.
is burying your children because
Uh-huh.
it's not natural. It feels unnatural. Like they
Mhm.
should be burying me. Like that's,
Yeah, uh-huh.
what my expectation is, right?
Mhm.
And I actually heard about this woman. She gave a talk and she buried all five of her children. I know.
Okay. How did
And she lived through it.
Uh-huh.
She had support of her community and her friends and stuff. And she
Mhm.
buried five of her children.
How many kids did she have, and if
Five children.
how did they all die?
I know, right? No, they all died one by one.
Oh, did she just, like was she just really old when she died, or
She was
what
she hey, I don't think she's died yet. I think she's still alive, but I don't know. I think unfortunately, right? It's like I know statistically one should have lived, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no idea. She didn't say. I don't know if it's
Okay,
genetic or if it
uh-huh,
was alcoholism or who
uh-huh.
knows. Who
Okay,
knows?
okay,
Or maybe
that's
both. Who knows?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I don't remember the details, but yeah, but the whole idea of burying your children is really scary.
Uh-huh.
I That's all I'm going to say on this topic.
Okay, yeah, you're good.
But the hologram, that's
Uh-huh.
interesting. They had a hologram of Michael Jackson playing at, what is that called?
Uh
You know who Michael Jackson is? Okay, let's talk about that in a second.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember, like, seeing that.
Coachella.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's kinda cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like watching a video of him performing.
Yeah.
Basically, a 3D
Much,
video.
yeah.
So apparently, did you know this, that it's actually not that hard to make a hologram?
No, no, I
So
didn't.
you go on YouTube, there are hologram videos.
Uh-huh.
You take a plastic and you fold it into fours.
Uh-huh.
You put it on top of your phone and it reflects a hologram.
Oh, cool. Cool. Oh, nice.
Who would have thought it's
Yeah,
easier than you
yeah.
thought? So that technology of having the
Uh-huh.
kid as a
Uh-huh.
hologram, probably not
Yeah.
that far.
Oh, speaking of like like burying kids, what do you think about those people who like stuff their animals? Stuff
Taxidermy,
taxidermy.
taxidermy,
Yeah, yeah, taxidermy. Yeah.
taxidermy. Interesting. So I would like taxidermy is like inherently creepy,
Yeah, right? Like
right?
like if I had like an animal who died, it died. Like just bury it like, like have be at peace, but if you have to see it every day,
It's
like
not at peace. You're not at peace.
exactly.
Yeah, I didn't know people were doing that to their pets. Pet, it's so sad. It's such a heartbreaking. Have you ever seen like a pet die? Like someone maybe
No,
not
no.
yours, but someone else's.
No.
It is so heartbreakingly sad. My kids are into millennial music.
Oh, that's cute. That's
Is
cool.
it?
Yeah.
Because I like now I understand my parents'
Uh-huh.
uh sorrow over my obsession with NSYNC. Now I get it.
Okay, okay.
I am being revenged like
Uh-huh.
directly.
Yeah.
My kids love NSYNC.
Yeah.
Like they're and it's my fault because one
Uh-huh.
day I made them watch the video. It's
Uh-huh.
gonna be me. Yeah.
Oh, I just watched a documentary on Netflix
Yeah.
about like the making of boy bands.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
What
like
is
it's
it?
like a whole it's pretty interesting. It's talking about like the guy who's running it. It was just like a whole
Mm,
scam, and like how
mhm,
like the members themselves like hardly had like any money
mhm,
of make and they had to like break away from the contract and
mm.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
crazy.
TLC was
Oh
broke.
yeah, exactly. I saw that documentary. I was like,
Yeah.
how are they like performing to like millions of people and like broke?
That's the industry. So
Yeah. Uh
Taylor
huh.
Swift, do you
Uh
know
huh.
this? Do you know about this?
Oh no. Uh huh.
Taylor Swift realized that this is how the industry was working. The producers would make them sign contracts
Hmm.
because they wanted to be famous. They
Uh
wanted to
huh.
be found, right? They
Yeah.
didn't know what they were signing. They're not
Uh huh.
business people. They're not
Hmm.
MBAs, right?
Uh-huh.
A lot of them. And so Taylor Swift figured it out very soon. She
Mhm.
realized, oh, they're taking my music.
Yeah.
I'm not just signing up that I get paid for this music.
Uh-huh.
I'm signing off the rights to this music.
Mhm.
And now the producer owns the music and I no
Mhm.
longer own it.
Uh-huh.
So she's like, well, wait a minute. I wrote it one time. Why can't I write it again?
Yeah, yeah.
So what she did was
Uh-huh.
she would rewrite the song
Uh-huh.
and she would call it the Taylor Swift version.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast about that
Did
too.
you?
Yeah.
And then so now she owns the rights to her own music,
Uh-huh.
right? So now she did the same thing apparently with her Netflix special,
Yeah, yeah.
where she owned the rights to her Netflix special
Uh-huh.
and she contracted it out too.
Oh,
Yeah, and
nice,
she
nice.
produced it herself, et cetera, et cetera.
Uh-huh.
So she, I mean, if anything, people think she's like the daughter of the devil and stuff.
Yeah.
But if anything, the one thing that she is doing differently
Uh-huh.
is that she is owning the rights to her
Uh-huh.
own music.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people give like Taylor Swift a lot of hate,
I know.
and I think she probably is like very spoiled and entitled,
Yeah.
but like she's taking care of business.
She's a businesswoman.
Yeah. Mhm.
She writes her own songs.
Uh-huh.
Her songs have some connection to like the inner darkness of many women.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't think I've ever even heard any of her songs from start to finish.
Okay.
But there are lines in her songs that touch my
Mhm.
heart. Like that whole
Okay.
like, "Hey, hi, I'm the problem, it's me."
Uh-huh.
It's me, I'm the
Mhm.
problem. My kid could sing that
Yeah.
whole song. So, you know what I mean though?
Yeah.
Like she
Uh-huh.
does have lines like there's
Mhm.
this one song. Again, I've never heard the whole song,
Mhm.
but the line is, "You wouldn't last a day in the asylum where they raised me," or something.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard this line?
No.
Yeah, and that's how
Mhm.
I feel. You would not last a day
Yeah.
in the asylum that they raised me in. You know what
Uh-huh.
I mean?
Mhm.
Like my kids
Yeah.
specifically. But yeah, so no,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, I think she's an amazing businesswoman. She writes her
Mhm.
own songs.
Uh-huh.
She's very creative.
Mhm.
She like kind of broke the simulation
Yeah.
that
She
we're
she
in.
does it, like, by her own rules,
Yeah.
and that's how I'm trying to do comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to do that too.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I'm not
Uh-huh.
saying it's not gonna work. I think you'll be
Uh-huh.
able to do it. I
Uh-huh.
think you, Nan Mu, you're an
Oh,
intelligent woman.
thank you.
You will be able to do it, and please have me on your show or
Oh.
whatever when you do,
Uh-huh.
because You know, Nan is good. She's good with comedy. Obviously, very smart. You're
Oh,
very
thank you, thank
smart.
you.
And if anyone can do it, it's you.
Oh,
And I love that you just keep going. You just do
Yeah,
your
yeah.
thing. Because, you know, let me tell you, like, it's not an easy industry.
It's not.
People will
Yeah.
stab you in the back
Uh-huh.
and smile to your face.
Uh-huh. And sometimes, like, stab you in the face and talks back to your face as
I
well.
haven't had anyone
Yeah,
have the guts
yeah.
to do that to me yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But
I
yeah.
think it's, like, helpful to keep a healthy perspective.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm mad about, like, comedy,
Yeah.
I think,
Tell me.
okay, like, the way I think about it is, like, the reason you're doing comedy is to make you happy.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense to get angry
Sure.
about something.
Yes.
Worst case, just take a day off,
Yeah.
vent. And sometimes, like, when I'm really angry is
Yeah.
when I write my best joke, inspires
Nice.
the best joke.
Okay.
Like, try to get, like, anything in your life that, like, pisses you off,
Yeah.
like,
Write a joke.
yeah, write a joke about it,
Someone
process it.
tried to steal my joke one time. I
Okay,
wrote a
okay.
joke about that.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
right? And you like, one time I was, like, so pissed at, like, something, like, comedy related, and,
Yeah.
like, I was up till, like, 2 a.m. just
Yeah.
writing jokes, and they came out to be, like, brilliant jokes.
Yeah.
It's like you're
Nice.
fueled by that passion,
Yeah. And
so
everybody hates that person. Just kidding.
yeah.
I don't know
No.
what she's talking about. No idea. No idea. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that it does work. And it's funny because that joke that I told you about, that I wrote it, that person had stolen my joke, and I
Yeah,
have like
yeah.
a joke about that.
Uh-huh.
And so I tell that joke and I
Uh-huh.
get shocked that audiences love it because I'm like, you don't even know who I'm talking about. You don't need to.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to. Because it's funny because I sometimes get into this phase where I'm telling a joke and I'll pick someone in the audience
Uh-huh.
oftentimes and I'll tell the joke to them as if I'm talking to that person.
Uh-huh.
And then they start laughing and the audience
Yeah.
starts roaring and it's just the most healing thing. Comedy is I have this joke about comedy.
Uh-huh.
You've heard it before. There are two types of people who go to comedy competitions.
Uh-huh.
Those who like comedy and
Uh-huh.
those who don't like to go to therapy. Like those are the two
Uh-huh.
types of people who go to comedy
Yeah.
competitions.
Uh-huh.
Because it's true, it is kind of like and actually there was this one time I was doing comedy, I was at an open mic, and this was the day where I was like, "Ooh, I'm not stopping."
Mhm.
There were these two South Asian women, young
Mhm.
women in the audience, and I was setting up my joke, and part of it was how my mom had forgotten Halloween. She didn't understand
Oh,
about
uh-huh,
Halloween.
yeah.
And this woman goes, "It's like therapy." And I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not stopping
Yeah.
this." Like,
Uh-huh.
people need
Yeah,
representation.
yeah. Like, what really, is, like, helpful about comedy is, like, it's very it connects you to the audience. Like, if I had
Yeah.
audience members come up to me and you're like, "Oh,"
Yes.
like, "Thank you for speaking up for women." I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
just trying to have fun,"
Yeah.
And but, like, I'm glad, like, it talks to something deeper.
Yes.
So, and it, like, just like yesterday, someone went up to me and was like, "Oh, can I have your Instagram?" And it's just like, when you make someone laugh, you're, like, on the same wavelength.
Yes, that's true.
So,
That
yeah.
energy, you're like, bringing
Exactly.
energy to it.
Uh-huh.
So if someone said, "No, no, no, I want to do it, Nan. I want to do
Uh-huh.
comedy," what would be the first things you would tell them to start comedy?
Well, I would tell them to do what I did, like, go
Yeah.
to open mics, see
Yes.
what it's about. Then
Yeah.
you kinda lower the standard for what
Oh,
you
you
know.
have to lower your first open mic standards to 0.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
0.
Exactly. Yeah, don't expect
Anything.
yeah,
And just keep coming back.
exactly. Like, anything, like, it's hard work to get good at anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but just get used to maybe having a mic.
exactly, exactly.
All right. Well, this was
Yeah.
your first podcast.
Okay.
What do you
How did
think?
I do? I think I did
Oh, you
okay.
did
Oh,
amazing.
thank you, thank you.
But what did you think? Do you like or would you if other people asked you to go on podcasts, would you go on?
I will, yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty decent at riffing,
You have a good
so
personality
oh,
for podcasts,
thank
for
you.
sure. And I'm glad you came on.
Oh, I'm glad you invited me on,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining us for another episode of Modern
Thank
Mom.
you.
See you next time.
See you, bye.